Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember that if you want to be a star, you've got to really aim high right now, because the title of tonight's Starborn show is called You're Not There Yet. And that is because it's not for lack of enthusiasm, and that is because you could have a lot of enthusiasm since there are 4 planets in the fire signs, and fire signs have a lot of energy and get up and go right now. But there could still be other reasons, particularly if you're kidding yourself about anything, why you may not be there yet. And there could be a final destination, or a hope, or a wish of yours, or a dream of yours that you'd like to come true. And if you're not there yet, there could be several reasons why that could be happening. But the number one reason might be because you're kidding yourself about something. And that is because Neptune is in Aries. In fact, there's 4 planets in the fire signs. Isn't that great? But Neptune is in Aries, and it's a planet that can make you kid yourself about something, because it rules dreams and aspirations, but it also rules deceptions and omissions. And it is conjuncting a malefic planet, Saturn, which is the planet of obstruction and delay and of time. So things could sort of slow down, or there could be a few roadblocks in your path. Perhaps that's why you may not be where you want to be this week. And then they are conjuncting the Sun in Aries right now. And so these 3 planets, which are great planets, are all trining the Moon today in Sagittarius. And so that's great, because Sagittarius rules long distance travel, and it rules the higher mind, and religion and philosophy, and the courts, and people from foreign countries. So these 4 planets in the fire signs are also trining the other fire sign, Leo, which doesn't have any planets in it, but it's really nice that all 4 planets are in the fire signs. So you might be concerned with ideas or plans that could involve travel, or higher education, or international law, or people from foreign countries, because that's all the things that Sagittarius rules. Or you could be wanting to make a new beginning that has something to do with sports, or children's affairs, or parties, or even gambling, because those are some of the things that Leo rules. And then, of course, you could be really concentrated on a new beginning, because spring's coming, and that could be something where you want to sort of start over or start something new. But it's possible that that may not happen right now. But as I said, it's not for lack of enthusiasm, so I hope you just keep going, because there are another 4 planets in the water signs, and the water signs rule our feelings. So you can be very sure of how you feel about somebody, or about a new beginning, or a plan of yours, or some sort of goal that you have, and so particularly in the way you feel about things. And so that is because we have an exalted Jupiter today in Cancer, and it is direct now. It's been retrograde for a while, but now it's direct, and it is trining Mars in Pisces right now, and a retrograde Mercury. Mercury's the only planet that's retrograde right now, but when it does go retrograde, it is a better time to go back and tie up loose ends and finish up projects. So that could be delaying a new start of yours as well. Maybe there's just some other things you've got to do first. And Jupiter in Cancer is exalted there, but Cancer rules endings. So there may be some endings that you have to do first before you can get something new off the ground. That Jupiter is trining Mars in Pisces, and the retrograde Mercury, and Venus, which is in Pisces. So that's pretty great right now too. And so this is a time when you can be very enthusiastic, perhaps even about financial matters, because those 4 planets trine the sign of Scorpio, which is a fixed financial sign, ruling credit, debt, loans, taxes, insurance costs, inheritance, or money coming in from any other source. So maybe there's some bills that you have to pay off, or debts that you have to clear before you can get a new beginning underway. And so that could be stopping you. There's also the possibility that since Cancer rules moving, that you may want to make some strategic move that you have been putting off, but which could really help you make a new beginning or go in a new direction. So that's a good idea too. However, you are, and then there's two, however, you are still not going to be where you want to be. You're still not there yet. Why is that? The reason why is because all 10 planets in the heavens right now are being squared by some other planets, even the ones that are trining each other. They're all being squared by some other planets, and a square represents challenges. And so, oh, you've got that to be looking at right now, and that could be why you're not there yet. And so we begin by seeing that there are 4 planets that are in mutable signs, which are generally very easygoing, and they are all squaring each other. Oh, that's not too good. And that is because that gentle moon in Sagittarius today is being squared harshly by the Mars and Mercury and Venus in Pisces. And that's too bad, because when the moon and the sun, oh no, it's the sun in Pisces, I'm sorry, forgive me for that. When the moon and sun square each other, it is an indication of confusion or indecision. And so that could be going on in your life as well. And so there is the possibility with this square among the mutable signs that there can be some job issues, or there can be some worries behind the scenes about something that perhaps you have been kidding yourself, or you may have even been hiding or sort of been in denial about, because these 4 planets are also squaring and opposing the other 2 mutable signs, which are Gemini and Virgo. Virgo rules your health. All the planets in Pisces are opposing Virgo. So there could be some health issues or some job issues that are delaying a new start for you, or complicating issues in your life right now. So that's why you could not be where you want to be yet. And then there are another 4 planets in the cardinal signs, and they are all squaring each other, because that exalted Jupiter in Cancer, a cardinal sign, which is direct now and rules endings as well, so there could be some good endings coming up, but it is squaring the planets in Aries. And so it's squaring Neptune, and it's squaring Saturn, remember, which is a malefic planet in Aries, and it is Venus, which is in Aries. I'm sorry about that earlier, but it is Venus. It is in Aries right now. And so it's a little bit too bad that Jupiter is squaring Venus, because that is, it simply means that can complicate matters that could be of great benefit to you, but that is another reason why you are not there yet. You're not where you should be. It can be because these 4 planets in Cancer and Aries are also opposing and squaring the signs of Libra and Capricorn, because they're cardinal signs as well. And that simply means that you're possibly not where you want to be yet, because there's some sort of move or ending that has to take place first, and it probably can go ahead now because Jupiter is direct. But it's also possible that there is something that can hold you back right now if you've had any damage to your reputation. Capricorn rules not only your career, but it rules your public reputation. And that's being squared by these planets and opposed by planets as well. And then there is the possibility that if you're trying to form a new partnership, which would be regarding the sign of Libra, that could be a little difficult, because Jupiter in Cancer is squaring Libra, and all the planets in Aries are opposing Libra. So that can complicate issues right now for you as well, which is why you're not there yet. And then there are the remaining 2 planets which are in fixed signs. And that is because Pluto today is at 5 degrees of Aquarius, the sign of the future and of new things. And it is squaring Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, in Taurus at 28 degrees. And so, it's in a fixed financial sign. And together, these 2 planets are also squaring and opposing the signs of Leo and Scorpio, the other fixed financial sign. So because these planets are squaring each other and they're pretty powerful, it is an indication that that new leadership, that's Pluto in Aquarius, is going to displace older leadership. That's because Pluto is opposing Leo. And as it displaces older leadership, the money shifts And that's because Uranus is in Taurus, a fixed financial sign. Well, it's opposing Scorpio, the other fixed financial sign. And Pluto is in Aquarius, and that is one of Scorpio's ruler, squaring the sign it rules. That's no good. So that's affecting the financial signs, and that's why the money shifts. And if the money shifts, it can't be shifting from conventional ways of investing to investments that are focused a little bit more on new things or on inventions. And they haven't exactly proven their financial worth yet, or they can be costing a lot of money to set up in the first place, and that can be, excuse me, why you're not there yet. Nobody else is either. So there are several reasons this week that why you are not where you want to be. But you can still be working on that, because the 4 planets in the fire signs are very energetic, and the 4 planets in the water signs can really reveal how you truly feel. And so, you could still have the energy and you could still have the sincerity to go forward. It's just that you're going to meet an awful lot of challenges along the way. Okay, so what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries, for you, you do have Venus in your sign, but you have Saturn in your sign as well. And so Aries, along with Neptune in your sign, which can indicate false starts and the fact that you might be kidding yourself about something, there is the possibility that you might have to sort of change direction a little bit now, Aries, and maybe still try a new beginning, but in a new direction. And that would be a good idea, because your sign is actually being tried by the moon in Sagittarius right now. And so there is a possibility that you could see your way clear to going in a new direction. And I would give that a try, Aries, because something that you wanted to do already, or something that you were even counting on, is going to have a lot of delay connected to it. And it also could be something that you're really kidding yourself about. If you could think about going in some other different direction right now, you may be surprisingly pleased that that is sort of a better fit for you than what you'd been doing in the past. And that's why I suggest that you consider even trying something new, rather than digging in to something that has you're kidding yourself, or there's some deception there, or there's a lot of issues that are sort of underlying issues that probably you have not taken into account as closely as you should. And so that is why possibly this is a better time to just go off and start in a new direction. And you sort of have the light of the gentle moon helping you out. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does that mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, remember I said the money shifts right now, and that nobody is where, none of us are where we want to be. We're not there to a certain goal or a certain aspiration or a certain new beginning that we want to achieve. And you aren't either, Taurus. And the reason why is that there are no other planets in the earth signs, and there is one planet squaring your sun sign, and it can be causing trouble for you, Taurus, and it's going to do that for years. And that is Pluto in Aquarius, which is squaring Uranus in your sign. Now, Uranus is a planet, a malefic planet of sudden surprising change, instability, volatility. You never know what's going to happen next with it. And of course, yours is a fixed financial sign. So you can be worried about the money right now, because Uranus is squaring the sign it rules, Aquarius, and it's squaring Pluto. Uranus is about to come up to the 29th degree in your sign. And that is the degree of fate, and that is the degree of a blind star. And so you would be wise to be very careful right now, Taurus, and sort of step back and take a look at the world around you. You can be seeing that there's a lot of other people who are wanting to come into upper management positions, who have their eyes on the future, and they're staying that way. And so there's going to be new leadership around you, Taurus, and it may not be the kind of leadership that you're used to, or that you're even that interested in. And so there could be some sort of change coming up for you, Taurus, or there could be a shift in the money, in your money, from the conventional way that you have been investing your money, perhaps in high-priced property or in financial investments. And if there is a shift in the money overall, which I think there is right now, that could throw you off a little bit, Taurus. And your financial future could be a little bit threatened by some investments that are lowering in value, particularly if you have been dependent upon income from those investments. And so since that Pluto in Aquarius is going to be squaring your sign for about 15 or 17 more years, it means that these people that are sort of the new people on the block, or they have new ideas, and they're not your same old steady friends, Taurus. And the Taurus is a steady earth sign, and they like to be careful in their rut, or uncomfortable in their rut. And they, they work hard, and they like a good life, and that's their reward, and that's enough. And so you could be thrown off by all the new innovation and new leaders and new ideas that are being proposed and coming forward in the world. This is going to continue, and rather than have it throw you off base, which is what I think it's doing for you now, Taurus, since nobody is where they want to be right now, and they're not going to be this week either, I would suggest that you sort of step back right now and just think about, okay, what do you really like about your life? Okay, well, what do you not want to give up about your life? What are you comfortable with? Well, what have you worked hard for yourself? Well, why don't you be happy with that, Taurus? You don't need to change. If you've worked hard in your life to achieve certain goals, and even if they are not fitting in with the new crowd on the block, what do you care, Taurus? You know what you've earned. You know what you're worth. You have to pay attention much more to your finances, and that doesn't really create a change in you per se, or even in your lifestyle, but you do have to pay much more attention to your investments, because the money shifts as we enter an age of new investments, which you may not understand and you may not want to invest in. And so this is a better time for you to be even more conservative, Taurus. And I hope you just settle down and rethink what you already have achieved. And I would suggest that you try to be real happy where you are, because it's yours. And you don't have to branch out into uncharted territory. And also, maybe that's not a good idea right now for you. Pluto's going to be squaring your sun for a long time. And so if I were you, I would sort of step back and be happy with where you are and stick to that. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius is trining your sun, but your sun is coming up against the fact that there are 4 planets. Your sun sign is coming up against the fact that there are 4 planets in mutable signs, and they are squaring each other. And so that's a lot of planets to be squaring your sign, Gemini, which doesn't have a planet in it. And so the moon today in Sagittarius is opposing your sun sign, so there can possibly be a woman somewhere in your life that sort of wants to go her own way, Gemini. She may not be headed toward you. She may want to branch off into the great unknown right now, or do some traveling, or seek higher education, or be interested in court matters or people from foreign countries. And she may not want to just come your way right now. Well, that's all right, Gemini, because you have a larger problem than that. And it is that the planets in Pisces are all squaring your sun. That is going to give you some trouble, Gemini, because there's too many of them, and one of them is a malefic planet, Mars, in Pisces, squaring your sun. So somewhere behind the scenes, there's a troublemaker in your life, Gemini, and you need to sort of keep your guard up right now. And if you see that people are trying to threaten you in any way, or pulling a few shady tricks on you behind the scenes, you have to sort of batten down the hatches right now, try to protect yourself more. And also, if you sense that you have enemies around, I would sort of get out of there, Gemini, and don't stick around. Make a good excuse and leave if you can. You don't need to put up with people that wouldn't mind sort of sticking the knife in your back, or they could be jealous or vindictive, or even spreading rumors about you behind your back that aren't true at all. because not only is Mars in Pisces squaring your sun, but also the retrograde Mercury, your own ruler, Gemini, is squaring your sun, and since it's retrograde, it means that you have to go back and check facts, or you have to go back and catch up on either some paperwork or some short chores around the house that you've been putting off, or some relationships that have been somewhat casual. Maybe now is a better time for you to ask yourself, well, do you really like these people? Do you want to spend time with them? Or do you sort of want to move on yourself? Or if somebody else wants to move on right now, Gemini, they're probably going to do it. They may regret it in the future. But in the meantime, why don't you just be smiling and be as quiet as you can? Because the sun is also in Pisces squaring your sun. And remember, the moon is opposing your sun. There are other people who have their own ideas, Gemini, and they want to do things their way, not your way right now. Yet, if you keep your eyes on the future, and if you sort of aim a little higher yourself, Gemini, I think you're going to do fine. This may be a better time for you to be cautious and protect yourself from other people who do not have your best wishes in mind. But on the other hand, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be trining your sun for years. And that rules upper management, possibly in that want to do new things. And they could be very interested in you, Gemini. You're going to benefit from that Pluto trining your sun and having good relations with people that are sort of higher up right now. And that will continue for years. That'll continue for well over a decade, that you'll be popular with people that are higher up. So aim higher, Gemini. But for right now, you're not there yet, and you're going to be surrounded by people who do not have your best interests at heart, and so I suggest you withdraw and be tactful. Tell people that you have something else to do, or you've got something else scheduled, and then don't put up with it. Just leave, Gemini. Because Uranus is about to come into your sign on April 26th, and there will be some sudden changes in your life, but they might be promoted by people who are higher up. That Pluto is going to trine Uranus in your sign for years, and we have never seen that in the world yet. So your good luck awaits you, Gemini, but it's not happening right now. So if I were you, I would duck out of a few things. All right, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer. You know, Cancer, you're sort of lucky because Jupiter, which is exalted in your sign, is now direct. And it's been retrograde for a long time, meaning there could have been some things that you wanted to do before, but life got in the way, including a move, an important move, or a couple of endings that if you hadn't made them because life got in the way, you really need to do that now, and you probably have a green light to do that now. If you're feeling, Cancer, that you're a little bit fed up with the status quo, or you don't really want to be spending time with people that are sort of not worth it to you right now, or do not share your values. Cancers have somewhat traditional values. If you're around other people who, they're living a lifestyle that's a little different than what you want, Cancer, this is a very good time for you to end relationships like that, because they're never going to make you happy, Cancer. If you're around people that aren't really your type, and you're always having to bend to them or do things that they want to do, then where's the happiness in your life? All you are is a doormat, or else you're getting used. And why do you want to go through life like that? If you aim a little higher, Cancer, you might get some help behind the scenes with that, or else there are problems behind the scenes that you have to address right now that Jupiter is direct in your sign, because Jupiter in your sign is trining the planets in Pisces, which rules things behind the scenes. So it's trining that Mars, and it is trining the retrograde Mercury, and it is trining Venus. And so this is a time, it's the sun. It's trining the sun as well. I don't know why my mind keeps going back and forth on that. But anyway, it's trining the sun as well in Pisces. So if you went behind the scenes right now, Cancer, and you decided, I'm going to clean up a few things, or I'm going to end a few things, or I'm going to sort of clear the decks so that you can make a very desirable move that could make you happier. This is the time to do it, Cancer. Jupiter isn't going to stay in your sun sign. It's leaving this summer. And so this is a time when you sort of need to clean up your act, particularly involving people or things behind the scenes that it's coming. There's something in the background of your life, Cancer, that is sort of coming to the boil. It's coming to a situation where you know it can't go on, and because it isn't right for you, or it's involving some sort of trouble behind the scenes. Either that someone else is in trouble and you're associated with them, or else they're making trouble for you. And this is a much better time for you to end that, Cancer, because you deserve the kind of life that you're made for. And Cancer rules the fourth house of home, last half of life, and endings. And it rules the home and the family, good cooking. And if you are at heart a homebody, Cancer, but you're around other people who have a sort of a wandering lifestyle and always like to be out at the next big party, maybe they're not really your type, Cancer. Maybe this is an excellent time for you to admit it. Because there is a grand trine in the water signs, and yours is a water sign, and that simply means that we all know how we really feel. So when are you going to get around to admitting it, Cancer? And just follow your feelings. Even if you're not home where you would rather be, or you're not really with the person that you want to be, and none of us is there yet, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, since you have the best planet in the heavens in your sun sign, for you to hurry up and get there if you can. And that may necessitate some endings, but that'll just be a load off your shoulders, and then you can go forward. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time, Leo, when you are facing change in your life. And the reason why the change is not exactly being perpetuated by you, Leo. Leos like their fun. They like sports and children and a good time and parties. And they like to be boss. They like to be the leader. But Leo, you have a very strong planet opposing your sun sign, and it's going to stay there for years. I think about 15 or 17 years, and that is Pluto in Aquarius, which is opposing your sun sign. And then you have money problems because Uranus in Taurus, a fixed financial sign, is squaring your sun sign. So somewhere in your life, or even in two different situations, Leo, you are not there either. And the reason why is that leadership roles are changing, and your sign rules leadership. So there are people that want to go into the future with new ideas, and they are not interested in the way you used to do things, mainly because that's in the past. You might have been very successful in the past, but time moves forward, not backward, Leo. And so there are people who are moving into positions. They could be new people, but new leaders with new ideas, and they want to move forward, and they're going to do it, Leo. And so they're leaving you behind. And yet, Leo, that may not be too bad for you. The reason why is that yours is a fixed sign. And you do have money problems that you have to address, because Uranus has been in Taurus squaring your sign for the last 6.5 years, and it is soon going to move up to the 29th degree of fate in Taurus, which means something is on or over, and it could be suddenly on or over, because Uranus is a malefic planet ruling sudden surprising change. And that's going to happen regarding financial matters, because Taurus is a financial sign. It rules the New York Stock Exchange. And so this is a better time, Leo, for you not to sit there and moan and groan about other people who are sort of displacing you in leadership roles. Actually, isn't that about normal, Leo? As we grow older, or as we achieve our own success, don't you think that there should be room for new people too? Just as there was room for you at one time when you wanted to start something new? Well, so other people want to do that now too, including younger people or even children. And they want to go their own way. They are uniquely able to adapt to change a lot more easily than you are, Leo. And so if the little birds want to fly right now, Leo, it would be wise of you to let them, and to wish them well, and just to let them know that you're there if they need you. But give them a sense of confidence that they can make it just the way you did at the same age. Why not? And so this is a time when your sign rules Extravagance. Maybe you can be extravagant in your good wishes for others. That would make you look sort of like a hero, Leo. It doesn't mean that you'd be center stage on anything anymore, but you might be able to move into the role of being a wise advisor, and you would be looked up to for that. You wouldn't actually have to change then. And I don't think you're going to change into being a new innovator, Leo. I think that whatever success you've had, I would suggest you try to stick to it and not reinvent the wheel right now. I don't think you'd be comfortable with that, Leo. And instead, if there are others around that want to advance, why don't you be magnanimous with your generous heart and let them know that you're in their corner and that you wish them well. There's nothing wrong with that. And on top of that, if they do get in trouble, it would be wonderful if you were there to help them when they need it. But they don't need to be told what to do all the time anymore. And particularly when Uranus comes into Gemini on April 26th and Gemini rules youth, there are going to be a whole lot of younger leaders. And they are going to zoom forward in the world. And they're not going to be afraid of anything. But they may not have your wisdom. And that will prove to be invaluable in the future. So why don't you step out of the spotlight, Leo, and let somebody else have their chance. But at the same time, you know, what's wrong with being in the audience and being a good audience to others that you love? We have a grand trine in the water signs, and the water signs rule our feelings. So you know what your feelings are, Leo. Just follow your feelings and be a good advocate for others that want to go ahead right now, because they're going to do it. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you just had a full moon total lunar eclipse in your sign, Virgo, so you could be looking at change right now, or else you know another woman who could be going through change, and you could be associated with them in one way or another. But I think for right now, Virgo, you need to keep your mind on what is going on in the background of your life. Because remember, nobody is where they want to be right now. And they're not going to be this week either, because too many planets, all of them, are being squared or challenged by other planets. Well, the problem that you have is that not only do you have the moon in Sagittarius squaring your sun right now, Virgo, but you have planets in Pisces that are opposing your sun sign, and one of them is Mars. Now, Mars was there under the total lunar eclipse last week. So that didn't help you out too much, because you could have run into trouble from people behind the scenes that were doing funny business. And, you know, they might have been aiming something pretty awful at you, Virgo. And I hope that you were paying attention to everything and trying to defend yourself as much as you could, because Mars is still there in Pisces. It is opposing your sun sign. Your own ruler, Mercury, is retrograde right now in Pisces, also opposing your sun sign. And then the Venus is in Pisces and opposing your sun sign. So Virgo, if you feel like, oh, you're the Lone Ranger right now and you're being left out of everything, you might be right about that, Virgo. But on the other hand, you do have talent. And one of your talents is that you pay close attention to facts and details. Your sign rules accounting, but it also rules banking. And there is a powerful planet, a malefic planet, but a powerful one, trining your sun right now, and it is Uranus in Taurus. And so you could, you know, if you could get your mind off of relationships that are not working out too well, or people around you that do not have your best interest in mind at all because they're selfish or vindictive or jealous. Instead, if you could focus only on the way the money is shifting right now and keep on top of that, Virgo, then you may be able to reallocate some of your investments in a way that is better for you in the future. But you would have to do that by yourself, Virgo. Virgo does rule solitude. Virgos like their solitude. It is a sign ruled by Mercury. They like to think about things. And so this might be a better time for you to withdraw and simply realize, okay, you're not there yet. You're not where you really want to be, or you may not be with who you want to be. But on the other hand, nobody can ever dispute the fact that you're pretty good at adding things up. Virgo, and this is a time when you should only pay attention to your own financial interests right now. And since they are subject to some sort of sudden change, since Uranus is the malefic planet of sudden surprising change, you really need to concentrate on that and be on top of it. So watch your money closely, Virgo. And if you see that the money is shifting in any way, possibly you could make some good decisions about that and still come out on top. But you'd have to concentrate on that right now, so I hope you do. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, remember I said, because all 10 planets are squaring each other, that nobody's where they want to be right now, and they're not going to be in the next week either. And one of the problems for you, Libra, is that yours is a cardinal sign, and it's getting hit right now by the fact that Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer, a cardinal sign, is squaring your sun. It has been doing that since last summer. It's going to do that till this summer as well. But it is a wonderful planet. However, it's been retrograde for a long time, so your home life may have not been perfect while Jupiter was retrograde, but since it is now direct, even though it's squaring your sun sign, it's an indication that you could sort of pay a little bit more attention to your home life, and something there could work out a little bit better for you if you worked on it a little bit, Libra, which is good. But at the same time, all 3 planets in Aries, including your own ruler, are squaring or are opposing your sun sign. And that isn't good. That means there are other people that have their own ideas, and they might be kidding themselves, but they still have their own ideas of new beginnings that they want to make, and it can be very difficult for you to have a harmonious partnership right now, Libra, because other people want to go their own way. And also there's a possibility that if you were hoping to sign some lucrative contract right now, your sign does rule legal contracts, it could be severely challenged for one reason or another, and that means that the possibility of new partnerships or new contracts are not looking too good right now. And that's why, once again, none of us, Libra, is where we want to be right now. And many of us can be kidding ourselves about new beginnings that we think could be perfect, but possibly there would be a few things we've overlooked. And the main thing could be that could be stopping people from being where they want to be right now, or being with whoever they want to be with, is that we all have to examine our own basic values more. And you could say, well, I know that I really care about somebody, or I know I want somebody to be a partner of mine. But could you live their lifestyle, Libra? Because if you couldn't, you might be kidding yourself there. If your values are centered around a certain lifestyle that you're comfortable with, and you really do care about somebody who's living a completely different lifestyle than that, how would that make them a good partner of yours? If they have a different lifestyle than yours, how would you ever be happy together? Unless one of you changes a lot. And maybe that's possible. They say that anything is possible if you love somebody, and Venus is your ruler. But and that rules love and peace and partnership. But I think that it could be very difficult for everybody, including you, Libra, to come up with some peaceful resolution right now. That might be a little difficult with so many planets in Aries opposing your sun and Jupiter in Cancer squaring your sun. So I think that to thine own self be true, Libra. You are a person that likes peace, and you like being a good partner, and you like things looking right or looking good. And if you could concentrate on making yourself happy right now, well, that's one half of any partnership. And if you could make yourself happy, doing things that you like and trying to be at your best, then that could be quite attractive to somebody else in perhaps at a distance who does care about you. It's just that you're not there yet with them. But it's possible that you could be. They could be people that are in sort of powerful positions. Excuse me. And that is because Pluto in Aquarius is going to be trining your sun for years and years. And so people who are higher up may find you quite appealing. And that's going to go on and on and on. So right now is a very good time for you to ask, well, what do you want to give up in your lifestyle in order to meet somebody halfway or have a new partner? Are there things you want to give up or not? If there aren't things that you want to give up, then maybe you're not ready for a partnership. Maybe you like your life just the way it is. So you need to think about an awful lot of things, Libra, because there is going to be a tremendous change in your life when Uranus goes into Gemini on April 26th and trines your sun at the same time that Pluto in Aquarius is trining your sun. That is going to benefit you greatly, Libra. That's why this is a more important time, whether you're in a partnership or not, to ask yourself what it is about your own life that you like and what it is that you do not want to give up. What are you really happy with? A person has to be at home with themselves first before they can share themselves with anybody else. And so just ask yourself what's making you happy and sort of stick with that, Libra. Your life is going to open up anyway. It's just not this week. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, the money is definitely going to shift for you right now because all 10 planets are squaring each other. But the reason it's going to shift is because of the two planets in the fixed signs that are squaring each other. One of them is your ruler, Scorpio. It's Pluto in Aquarius, the sign of the future, meaning that new leaders that want to go into the future are definitely going to do that. But of course, do they have all the money for that? I don't think so. And so they can be looking around for money. And of course, yours is a fixed financial sign. But with your own ruler, one of your rulers, you have two rulers, but with Pluto squaring your sign for many, many years to come, Scorpio, you're going to have to be much more conservative with how you manage your money. Because not every new thing is worth throwing money at, mainly because it hasn't proven that it's worth it yet. So it depends if you want to get in at the start of something and that you're willing to take a gamble and bet that it will succeed, that's one thing. But if you're not feeling like that right now, then if I were you, I would pull back a little bit, Scorpio, and not bet the farm on anything right now. I just wouldn't do that because another malefic planet is opposing your sun sign in the other fixed financial sign. Uranus is opposing your sun sign. It's squaring that Pluto, your other ruler, and it is indicating that there could be sudden fluctuations or sudden surprising changes in conventional investments. And that means that the money shifts somewhere. And it's about to do that. And Scorpio is a fixed sign, so is Taurus, so is Aquarius, and so is Leo. They all like things to stay the way they are. And that isn't going to happen. And so, Scorpio, you're going to have to be real careful, I think, and stick a little closer to home and to what your real feelings are. So I don't think that this is a time when you can afford to go out and make a whole lot of business deals. But you could make yourself happy, Scorpio, because the exalted Jupiter in Cancer, which is now direct, is trining your sun. And so is Mars, your other ruler. It's in good aspect to your sun, unlike Pluto, because Mars is in Pisces along with the retrograde Mercury and the Venus, and they are all trining your sun, Scorpio. And since Cancer rules the last half of life, and it rules homes, and it rules moving, this could be a better time for you to settle down, Scorpio. The money's going to shift anyway, no matter what you do. It's something that's happening everywhere in the world. And so if you decided, okay, you need a real home base, or you want to be home perhaps in a place that reminds you a little bit more about the way you were raised or the values that your parents instilled in you, then that is a good thing to aim for right now, because you could be very sure of your feelings, and they would be your deepest feelings. And so if you are not with the partner of your choice, you could start to think about doing that. And of course, if you were able in the future to be with the partner of your choice, you'd still need somewhere to live, Scorpio, and not something that is here today, gone tomorrow, but something that's a real home. And that would be something that you would enjoy not only sharing with a new partner, but even doing something to upgrade a home or redo it in some way in order to make a new life for yourself. And Scorpio rules psychological transformation and change. Actually, that's what Pluto rules, among other things. And so this can be a time in your life, Scorpio, when you benefit greatly from the trine in the water signs to be true to your feelings and to go through some sort of a change in the way you feel and the way you're going to be living the rest of your life. And this is a good time to be making some sort of move toward an ultimate ending to your past unhappiness that can bring you happiness for the rest of your life, even until your life ends. See, you could be deciding to really settle down to something that would make you happy for the rest of your life. And if ever there was a good time to do that, that is right now. So you might not be there yet, Scorpio, but that would be the best thing you could aim for now, because you can't change the way the money's going to shift. Nobody can. The money's going to shift anyway. It's going to shift from the old way of handling money to some newer ways. But with that goes the opportunity to gamble a lot. And this is not a good time for anybody to take a gamble, including you, Scorpio. So it's a better time for you to be true to your own feelings and stick to them. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius. This is a time with the moon in Sagittarius that, Sagittarius, you could have a little glow on you right now. And certainly everybody can see what you're doing, so I hope you're doing something that you enjoy, Sagittarius. Because there are 3 planets in Aries that are all trining your sun, and Aries rules new beginnings. But a lot of people now with Neptune in Aries and Saturn, a malefic planet ruling obstructions and delays, a lot of people can be kidding themselves about some new beginning. You may have been doing that too, but in a way, Sagittarius, that might have worked out to your benefit. Because if you are able to look at the way things are that you used to want, or some goal that you were aiming for, and you are able to see with the moon in your sign how you felt about that, you may be able to see a new beginning in a different light. It's one thing to have a business goal. It's another thing to ask yourself if you'd like it or not, if you'd enjoy it, if it was something that would make you happy. That's a whole lot different than making money. It has to do with our inner satisfaction. Well, Sagittarius, you have a very good mind, and you also have the ability to think about broad issues, because your sign rules religion and philosophy, but it rules the courts, and it rules international law, foreign countries and people from them, or travel to a foreign country. You could be sort of planning a trip right now, Sagittarius. Or you could be thinking how to incorporate people from different cultures into your life a little bit more in one way or another. Maybe it would just be by meeting people from other cultures. Maybe that's of greater interest to you now. But you could also be thinking about advancing your career by going back to school, because your sign rules higher education. And so I think this is a time when you may want to get a little bit more serious about what would make you happy, Sagittarius. And I would say that sure, we're all kidding ourselves about some new beginnings, and there are challenges because all 10 planets are squaring each other. But why don't you aim in a direction that would make you happier? Because the moon rules our feelings, and it's in your sign. And so why don't you think about that? No matter what your age is, Sagittarius, if you'd be happier doing something a little differently than you've been doing it before, this could be a time when you could think about that a lot more clearly, the pros and the cons. And I don't think you have anything to lose, Sagittarius, by giving something a try, or at least, dipping your toe in the water and asking people for their opinions, or making contacts with other people. You could do that. That doesn't hurt. And it sort of gets you on the road to a new beginning. And maybe you could do that because all the planets in Aries are trining your sun. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, yours is a cardinal sign. And since last summer, you have been, unfortunately, seeing that Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer, has been opposing your sun the whole time. So if you've been career-oriented, or you want to get off and increase your public reputation, or you want to be heading toward retirement, and you are in position where you would think, well, gee, that's what I've been working for and that's what I'm going to get. But this Jupiter in Cancer has been reminding you of the importance of home life and of family life and of things that need to end. And even for a Capricorn, sooner or later a career ends because Capricorn rules retirement. And so with Jupiter now direct but opposing your sun sign, you may feel as if the good things are at a distance and that they're not really with you right now, Capricorn. But, it depends on how you define good things. Because actually Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun and has been for the last 6.5 years. Which means that you've been watching the money pretty closely, and that's probably done you a lot of good, Capricorn. And so I don't think you really have a lot of financial problems. You may have people, even family members, who want some of your money for their own benefit. Remember, Jupiter's in Cancer, and Cancer rules families. So you might have had sort of a hard time saying no to people who may like you just for your money, just for what you can do for them. Or if they think they can live off your nickel and not spend any of their own, there could be a few people around like that too, Capricorn, and you need to say goodbye to those people. They don't need to be in your life. The users or the people that are just out to say or do whatever they can to influence you so that they can benefit from you doing something for them. That's actually a way of describing people who are very selfish and self-centered. And I don't think they deserve anything from you, Capricorn. Let them earn their own stuff. They can do it. And if they can't do it, then they can go find another sucker. But you don't need to let them, you don't need to be their sucker. And so this is a better time, Capricorn, for you to think a little bit more about your own future and your security. And believe me, with Uranus in Taurus, being squared by Pluto in Aquarius, that's one of the squares in the fixed signs, it simply means the money's going to shift. And Capricorns don't like that. Capricorns like security. And so you've got to be able to watch your own money and tune out anybody else that wants to watch your money right now, Capricorn. It's none of their business. And just concentrate on what's good for you and what will be good for you in the long run. Because you're going to live a long time. But your ruler, Saturn, has now gone into Aries, and it's being joined by Neptune, a planet that can make people kid themselves about new beginnings. So if I were you, I would think pretty carefully about a new beginning. And if it's going to benefit somebody else a whole lot more than it's going to benefit you, then I would say you're getting used, Capricorn, and I would pass on that if I were you. And just think a little bit more about what could help you for years down the road. Because that's how long you're going to live. You're going to live for a long, long time. And if you don't pay attention to that, nobody else will either. That's why you don't need to. You can tune out other people right now. As the money shifts, you're going to have to probably make some sort of adjustment, if not in your finances, at least in your plans. And that would be good. So good luck. All right, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when you can be wanting to just sort of zoom toward the future. You could probably have a million good ideas. Generally, Aquarians do have that because yours is an air sign. It's a fixed air sign, but it's an air sign. And your sign rules the future, and it rules invention, and it rules music, and it rules flight, and it rules space, and it rules electricity. Oh boy, you could go in a lot of different directions right now, Aquarius. But how would you find the money to do it? Where's the money coming from, Aquarius? You may not have the answer to that right now. And the reason why is that you could have a really good idea, but because Uranus, your own ruler, Aquarius, is still in Taurus, it's not going to stay there. By April 26th, it will be in Gemini, and your whole world is going to open up after that happens. It might not happen on April 26th, but in the next 7 years, your whole life is going to open up, Aquarius. But right now, you can be wondering where you're going to get the money since your ruler is squaring your sun sign where Pluto is. And I'm telling you that this square indicates, since it's among fixed signs, Taurus is a fixed sign, so is yours, and it affects the other fixed signs of Leo, which rules leadership, and also Scorpio, which is another fixed financial sign. You may not know where the money is coming from for your good new future plans. And so, Aquarius, instead, I would sort of take a time out right now and not only keep looking for money if you want to do that, or start thinking about selling something. The difference between having a partner that can finance an idea of yours and selling something of your own so that you can pay for the new idea is that you own it. You know, you don't have to share it. You own. If your idea is going to work, you own 100% of it and the profit from it too. But if you have a financial partner, which maybe you're looking for, they're going to own part of it too. And you need to think about that. If you're really sold on something, Aquarius, if I were you, I'd keep that good idea to yourself and sell something that can pay for it and go live one step at a time and own the whole thing. Because, as I said, your life is going to open up after April 26th when Uranus, your ruler, goes into Gemini and begins to trine your sun, which it hasn't done in years. And you know, you're on the verge of future success. And so you need to think real carefully about how important the money is to you right now. Because a good idea is worth a fortune. And you can't make a fortune without a good idea. So why don't you just stick to working on that right now, Aquarius? You know, polish it up. Get it ready. And think about something that you own that you could sell that would give you the money to get your idea started. And if you were able to do that, you could keep the whole thing to yourself, both the failure and the success of it. And yours is a fixed sign, the sign of the inventor. Inventors never give up, and so you shouldn't either. And so try to keep your ideas to yourself and keep working on them, Aquarius. That's better than trusting somebody who might say they have the money, but if the money shifts and they suddenly don't, you're both out a lot. If I were you, Aquarius, I'd just keep trusting yourself. That's enough for now. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when you can be looking at trouble somewhere. Oh, darn it, Pisces. That's because Mars is in your sign. Mars is not happy in Pisces. Yes, it's trining one of the signs it rules, Scorpio. And you do have the exalted Jupiter, which is now direct in Cancer, trining your sun. That is what I would call, Pisces, your lifesaver. No matter what situation you're in right now, Pisces, there's going to be some way to make a move or go through some sort of ending that would turn out to be extremely beneficial for you, particularly since Jupiter is now direct. And since Mercury is also retrograde in your sign, you could be changing your mind about something right now, Pisces. You could be looking at the stark reality of a situation that you're in, and it could be even something that involves trouble or the loss of a good reputation or some mistake that has to be corrected and changed, or some health habits such as alcoholism or drug addiction that's got to be worked on, particularly with Mars in Pisces, because that's what Mars in Pisces rules. This could just be a time, Pisces, when you need to make some really good endings, possibly 2 of them, while Jupiter is in Cancer, which rules endings, and it's now direct. Because it's exalted, no matter how much harm you've done to yourself through habits or through past mistakes that you've made, Pisces, that Jupiter is going to step in and make a new person of you if you let it. And if it means that you need to make a move of some sort, or you need to change your home life in some way, or you just need to settle down a little bit more, you could do it. And so there could be a move on your horizon, or some remodeling, or a new addition to your family. And it would come about, Pisces, and make you very happy if you were willing to admit your mistakes and try to correct them. Why not? You could really do that. And that is because Mars will move on, and also Mercury will go direct, and you know, you can straighten some things out, Pisces, if you want to, but the way you would do it is that you would have to change. You'd have to make a change in your life, Pisces. You would have to change your own behavior, or you'd have to change your own lifestyle a little bit. particularly if you were going to add somebody new to your life. You know, you'd have to make room for them, Pisces. So you wouldn't get everything your own way. But Pisces is a double-bodied sign. And it can rule deceptions and omissions and kidding yourself because your ruler is Neptune. Or it can rule enormous suffering and rising above it and getting over it. Because Pisces rules miracles. And so the miracle in your life might be, Pisces, is that you decide to make a change that is really very good for you. So I hope you sort of, you know, if you're going to vote for anything, why don't you vote for yourself, Pisces, and do what would make you happy and make you feel good. And if you have to get over a few bad habits, or you have to change the way you used to do things, well, that's all right, because everybody gets older. We all change. Change is the one guarantee in life. We're all going to do it. And so this is a wonderful time for you to give that a try, Pisces. I know that if you work hard at that, you will succeed, because you've got that exalted Jupiter in Cancer backing you up, because it's direct now, until this summer. So if you wanted to turn your life around, or add somebody new in your life, or make a move, or change your home life in some way to make you and everybody else happier, you've got from now until this summer, with the backing of that planet, which is the strongest planet in the heavens, but which rules homes and families and endings, then you can do it. Good luck, Pisces. The world could be your oyster. You just are not there yet. But you could give that a big try right now. I wish you the best of luck. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm sorry that I got a little confused at certain times, but there's just so much change that's going on that none of us is where we want to be right now, but we can all be very sure of our feelings. And as long as we're not kidding ourselves about a new start, it looks to me like, you know, give yourself a little room to move for all of you, and see what you can accomplish. And go slowly and patiently. So if your dream doesn't come true tomorrow and you're not there yet, it doesn't mean that it's not worth going after. So just give it another try. All right, thanks so much, and I'll see you next week. And thank you very much for the new subscribers. I hope you tell your friends about STARBORN, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.